Have you ever sat in your living room, looked around, and realized how quiet it's gotten lately? Not just in the house, but in your life. Maybe your children are busy, the grandkids have their own lives, and the phone doesn't ring as often as it used to. You start to wonder if they've forgotten how much you still have to offer, or if maybe they just stopped seeing you the way they used to. That feeling of being left behind in the very family you helped build can weigh heavy on the heart. You're not alone in feeling this way. More and more people over 60 are quietly carrying this same sadness. It's not about needing attention every day or wanting to be the center of anyone's world. It's just the simple human desire to be remembered, respected, and included. After all the years spent raising children, making sacrifices, holding families together during the hard times, it's natural to hope that you'll still be seen, heard, and valued. But when the house grows quieter and the holidays start to feel more like obligations than celebrations, that hope can turn into something painful. And if you felt this way, lonely, neglected, invisible in your own family, I want you to know that you're not weak or ungrateful. You're human. You care deeply. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Let's talk about that feeling, honestly. Let's sit together for a few minutes, just like old friends having a heart-to-heart over tea. Because this video isn't here to blame anyone. It's not about pointing fingers or feeding resentment. It's about helping you feel more seen, by others, and by yourself. It's about gently guiding you back to a place where your worth isn't measured by how often someone calls or visits, but by how you see your own life. Let's start with this. The truth is, life has changed. For your children, for your grandchildren, for you. And in this modern world, where everyone seems to be rushing from one thing to the next, it's easy for relationships to get buried under schedules and stress. Your kids probably aren't trying to push you away intentionally. But still, intentions don't always match up with impact. You might understand why they're busy, but that doesn't make the silence any less painful. And that's where the hurt really comes from. It's not just about time. It's about meaning. You start to feel like your presence isn't meaningful to them anymore, and that's a heavy feeling to carry. But here's something important to hold on to: you still matter. Your life, your experiences, your wisdom, they haven't lost their value, no matter how distracted others may seem. One of the first things we can do, when we start feeling this way, is take a step back and remind ourselves of who we are beyond the roles we've played. Beyond being a mother, a father, a grandparent. Who are you at your core? What brings you peace, joy, or even just a sense of curiosity? Sometimes, we lose ourselves a little bit when we pour everything into raising a family. And when that family grows up and grows distant, it can feel like we're left holding empty hands. But they're not empty, not really. They're just ready to hold something new. So, let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something just for you? Not out of duty, not because someone else needed you to, but simply because it brought you comfort or happiness. It could be a walk in the morning sun, a puzzle by the window, planting something in the garden, picking up a pen and writing down a story from your childhood. These aren't small things. These are soul-filling things. And when your soul starts to feel full again, that loneliness begins to shrink. Another small but powerful shift is reaching out, not always to your family, but maybe to someone new. A neighbor. Someone at your community center. Even an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. I know, it can feel awkward at first. Vulnerable, even. But you'd be surprised how many others are feeling the exact same way you are, waiting for someone to break the silence. And here's the thing, connection doesn't have to mean big gatherings or daily phone calls. Sometimes, a simple hello, a shared story, a kind word is enough to warm the spirit. The more we open ourselves up to new sources of connection, the less power we give to the neglect we might feel from others. You don't have to wait for someone else to show up for you. You can show up for yourself, and in doing that, you'll start attracting people who appreciate your presence. Let's be honest, family can be complicated. Even with love at the center, there can be misunderstandings, distance, unspoken expectations. You might think to yourself, they should know how I feel. But people, especially when they're busy or distracted, aren't always good at noticing what's not being said. It's okay to speak up. Kindly, gently, but clearly. It's okay to say, I miss hearing from you. I'd love to see you more. That vulnerability takes courage, but it can open a door that's been stuck closed for too long. And if that door doesn't open right away, or at all, please remember this: you are not less worthy because someone else failed to see your value. You are not invisible. Sometimes, people's blindness says more about their own busyness or emotional walls than it does about your place in their hearts. But don't let that blindness define your self-worth. The life you've lived, the things you've overcome, the love you've given, those things have shaped you into someone with so much to offer. Don't let loneliness convince you otherwise. You are needed. Maybe not always in the ways you used to be, but in ways that are still unfolding. And the more you stay open to that, open to new connections, new joy, new self-discovery, the less power that loneliness holds over you. Let's keep this conversation going. Because this feeling of being left behind is more common than most people think, and the more we talk about it, the less alone we all feel.